In the year 12,287, Earth was no longer home to humanity. The cities were gone. The highways had disappeared beneath forests. The greatest monuments ever built had been swallowed by time. Across the continents, nature had reclaimed what civilization once controlled. Mountains stood where skylines had once dominated the horizon, and forests covered regions that had once housed millions of people. Most believed that human history had been lost forever. Whatever remained of the ancient world existed only in fragments, myths, and scattered ruins. Or at least, that was what everyone thought. Everything changed when a small archaeological expedition arrived in a remote mountain valley that had never been fully explored. The team had spent months surveying the region. They expected to find little more than traces of an old settlement or perhaps a forgotten storage facility. Instead, hidden behind roots, stone, and centuries of overgrowth, they discovered something completely unexpected. Embedded into the side of a mountain stood a massive doorway. It was unlike anything they had seen before. There were no records of it. No maps mentioned it. No previous expedition had ever reported its existence. Yet there it stood, silent and untouched, as if it had been waiting for someone to find it. When the entrance was finally open, darkness greeted them. The air inside felt strangely different. Outside, the world was humid and alive with vegetation. Inside, the atmosphere was dry and preserved. As their lights swept across the darkness, rows of shelves slowly emerged. Then more shelves appeared. Then more. The explorers walked forward in disbelief. The room seemed endless. At first they assumed it was some kind of archive. Then the scale became clear. This wasn't an archive. It was a library. Books stretched into the distance farther than their lights could reach. Shelves climbed from floor to ceiling. Corridors branched into other corridors. Chamber after chamber appeared beyond enormous stone arches. The collection seemed impossible. There were millions of books, histories, scientific records, literature, philosophy, art, mathematics, and stories from thousands of years of human civilization sat untouched. In complete silence, the explorers stood motionless. Humanity had lost cities. Humanity had lost nations. Humanity had lost entire civilizations. Yet somehow this survived. As the expedition pushed deeper into the structure, the mystery only grew. Every hallway revealed another vast collection. Some rooms contained maps from ancient civilizations. Others preserved scientific journals from humanity's final centuries on Earth. Entire sections were dedicated to languages that no longer existed anywhere else. Books written in forgotten alphabets filled shelf after shelf. There were records of cultures that had vanished thousands of years earlier. There were works of art, poetry, and philosophy that no living person had ever seen. One archaeologist later described the experience in a simple sentence. It felt like walking through humanity's memory. Weeks into the excavation, the team made another discovery. Hidden behind a reinforced door was a small private chamber unlike anything else in the library. The room contained a wooden desk, a chair, and an ancient recording device. After careful restoration, the machine unexpectedly powered on. A face appeared on the screen. The recording was over 10,000 years old. The man looking into the camera had gray hair and tired eyes, but his voice was calm and clear. "If you're watching this," he began, "then our world is gone." The room fell completely silent. "We knew we couldn't save everything," the man continued. "We knew cities would fall. We knew buildings would collapse. We knew time would erase almost everything we created. But knowledge must survive. So we built this place. And if you're here now, then it worked." For a moment, nobody moved. The archaeologists were listening to the voice of a person who had lived more than 10,000 years earlier. Someone who had anticipated the fall of civilization. Someone who had planned for a future he would never see. As research continued, the true significance of the library became clear. The collection contained more than books. There were letters, journals, photographs, drawings, recordings, personal diaries, and countless fragments of everyday life. Historians discovered recipes written by ordinary families. Scientists recovered research that had been considered lost forever. There were school notebooks, sketches, musical compositions, and messages written by people who had no idea their words would survive for 10,000 years. The library transformed the way future humanity viewed the ancient world. Before the discovery, the past had seemed distant and abstract. Ancient humans were often discussed as statistics, civilizations, and historical events. Inside the library, they became real. The archaeologists encountered people who worried about their futures, celebrated achievements, loved their families, and dreamed about tomorrow. They realized that despite the enormous gulf of time between them, the people of the ancient world were not so different from themselves. Years passed as scholars cataloged the contents of the library. Every new discovery added another piece to humanity's forgotten story. Entire cultures were reconstructed. Lost languages were deciphered. Historical mysteries were solved. Yet perhaps the greatest discovery was not any single book or document. It was the realization that ideas can survive long after the structures that created them disappear. Civilizations rise and fall. Cities are built and eventually crumble. Roads vanish. Towers collapse. Forests grow where millions once lived. Time erases almost everything. Yet knowledge has a unique power. A thought written on a page can travel across centuries. A story can survive longer than a monument. An idea can outlive an empire. The last library on Earth became one of the most important discoveries in human history, not because it contained treasure, but because it preserved memory, hidden within a mountain, protected by stone, silence, and time. It carried humanity's voice across 10,000 years. And even today, deep within those ancient halls, beyond endless shelves and forgotten corridors, the library remains, quiet, waiting, protecting the memories of a civilization that refused to be forgotten.